Welcome back to Character Boot Camp in Na'aleh, and the same caveat as before, far be it from me to give mussar to other people, but I'm so needy in this regard. I'm definitely benefiting from preparing these classes on how we're going to improve our character and become more honorable mention. Today's class is Lili Mishas Rachalea Bas Chaim Tzvi, Allah Shalom. We thank all the Na'aleh staff, the Reichman family in America, the Clavers over here, of course JJ, who's here in the studio once again to help us out, and Yael, and Mrs. Bomser. We continue. Now we're going to discuss today a mitzvah, which is we're not going to be able to do this in 1 week. I don't even know if we can do this in 3 weeks, but it's a critically important mitzvah. It's going to govern the way we think, it will govern the way we speak, and it'll make our lives so much more manageable. And this is the mitzvah of judging favorably, giving other people the benefit of the doubt. There's a verse in the Torah, B'tzedek tishpot amitecha, you must judge your other person justly. We will soon learn what does it mean justly, how that converts from justly into fairly. Okay, now the fact of the matter is everyone can relate to this. It's when you need people to judge you favorably that opens you up in a perspective how to give other people the benefit of the doubt. I remember hearing the story that there was a young woman who got married, and just before her marriage, during Sheva Brachot, she had contracted, I don't know if that's the proper medical term, it came down with hepatitis, Zahevet. And the whole week of Sheva Brachos, she got it during Sheva Brachos, and then right after marriage, she was laid up in bed. And all, like most young women who get married, they have these great aspirations and desires. They're going to be a great balabasta, and they'll prepare all the food, and they'll be the great cook. So what happened was, right after Sheva Brachos, they found this woman's husband in the Makolit, and he's buying canned goods, disposable items. Canned Shabbos is what he was buying. And people felt, here he gets married and he's got to buy everything. Where's his wife? And she said, at that moment, it just opened me up to the importance of giving people the benefit of the doubt. And she told me, I remember I met this woman getting onto a plane once, because I wrote a book entitled Courtrooms of the Mind. And in truth, it is a courtroom. You can judge someone for life or give something to 10 years over a simple misunderstanding. That's why it's so important to give the benefit of the doubt. So this woman told me that she said, now if I would see a person walking with a red turtle on their head, I'd be certain there must be a reason why they need a tortoise on their head. When you need to be judged favorably, that's when it opens you up. I had an experience myself many years ago when computers were not standard operating procedure, certainly not in my religious neighborhood in Jerusalem. My computer screen, and I'm not talking about flat screens, I'm talking about years ago when they had these big giant screens, it went on to blink. And there's a person in my neighborhood who is knowledgeable with computers, and so I took the screen to his house, hoping that he could fix it for me. And I remember I was walking through the neighborhood, and all of a sudden people were looking down, and it was even a novelty in those times. Screens were not something that, in my neighborhood, it was pretty new to have computers and screens. And everybody's pointing, it was like it was a television. I was hiding into my jacket on the side. And when you need people to give you the benefit of that, it opens you up to how important and critical it is to give other people the benefit of the doubt. Okay, now I want to go through the laws germane to giving the benefit of the doubt. They're not very complicated, and these are they. This is based on the Rambam and the Chafetz Chaim and Rabbeinu Yonah. Firstly, if someone has the status of Benoni, which means an intermediate individual, person in the middle, not to be confused with when we talk about Yom Kippur time, Rosh Hashanah time, in the new year we talk about a Benoni, everyone should always view the person as 50-50. You do one more mitzvah and you tip the scales for good for yourself and for the whole world. Do one more sin, you tip the scales for you and for the whole world to the bad. That's a very healthy approach, realizing the significance of each and every act. I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to that as far as judging favorably, judging means, a Benoni means a person who is a mitzvah observer, usually do everything correctly, but not always. They slip upon occasion. This person is called a Benoni. And the law is, if this person does something which could be interpreted either positively or negatively, you are obliged, the positive command from the Torah, to give them the benefit of the doubt. For example, let's say, I'm going to give an Israeli example. I wish I could think of one more appropriate for overseas, but in Israel, let's say you see someone get onto the bus and they don't pay. It's really 50-50. Either someone paid for them, or they flashed a monthly pass, you didn't see that, or they stole. You can interpret one of either ways. So if this person is a Benoni, there is a positive command from the Torah to give them the benefit of the doubt. If this person is not a Benoni, but they're a righteous, pious individual with a reputation which precedes them, known as a saintly individual, and they do something which is overwhelmingly to the detriment. Let's say they get on the back of the bus, and obviously they don't pay. So you must give them the benefit, as long as you can somehow concoct a scenario to somehow vindicate, if not in fact corroborate that which they've done, you're obliged to do so. Maybe they had someone pay for them in the front of the bus, or maybe they passed their ticket to the front and you didn't see that. As long as you can think of some scenario, you're obliged to give them the benefit of doubt. If you do not know who this person is, they could be righteous, pious, and devout, or they could be nefarious, pernicious, perfidious, Machiavellian, diabolic, sinister, iniquitous. You don't know. So there's no mitzvah to give them the benefit of the doubt, but needless to say, it's meritorious and commendable to give them the benefit of the doubt. We will talk, not this class, not the next class, but probably in the third class, about that doesn't mean a person has to be naive, although it's always helpful to think the benefit of the doubt. In other words, if someone